Hi guys, how are you? So my name is Mumina. I'm a registered dietitian, passionate about child nutrition and health. And in this particular video, we're going to talk about a very serious problem that most parents come to me with. That is basically allergies and intolerances. So we're going to explore what causes them. We're going to also talk about the things that you need to look out for as a parent at home to be able to know if your child is experiencing any forms of allergies or intolerances. And we're also going to talk about definitely the nutrition habits that you can actually adapt at home to actually help you manage and actually prevent the occurrences of these allergies and intolerances in our babies. So what are some of the things that you need to look out for? The first thing is the most common one, that is basically the itching. So if your child is allergic to any type of food, any type of pollen, or any environmental factors, when they come into contact with that, they're going to experience some itching, the hives, the rashes. They can even start having some small bumps here and there. They can also experience some form of coughing, sneezing, wheezing, and even a lot of mucus that is coming out from their nose or even their teary eyes and such. So what about intolerances? Why do they happen? So basically this means that your child is not able to digest or to actually utilize the food that you're giving it. So intolerances, we basically have the gastrointestinal discomforts like maybe bloating, too much gas, diarrhea, vomiting, the abdominal cramps and such. And you can also have behavioral changes like maybe fatigue, sleep disturbances, insomnia, or even change in moods because the energy metabolism is actually altered. Now that we know the signs to look out for in our children, what exactly causes allergies, or why is it that the numbers are increasing at an alarming rate? The first thing is lack of proper breastfeeding practices. Babies who are exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months with continued breastfeeding for up to 2 years experience less occurrences of allergies and intolerances compared to babies who have been on mixed feedings or actually breast milk substitutes or breastfeeding periods were shorter. As a mom with a newborn, this is a great time for you to come across this video to ensure that you practice and you try as much as you can to sustain exclusive breastfeeding. I have a playlist here on how to actually support and promote breastfeeding for new moms, and you can have a look. It has insights on the things that can actually help you. Another thing that has actually been associated with the increased rates of allergies and intolerances in our children is the increased rates of environmental pollutions like the toxins. Like if you go to town, you'll experience some tearing on your eyes, you'll experience some skin itching because the air is too contaminated, the environment is too contaminated. And that's not even all. The water that we are drinking is contaminated. The foods that we have in our markets, unfortunately the regulations are too poor in our country, so we have foods that are loaded with toxins. And also our soil quality, it is actually degrading by the minute. The agricultural inputs that we are using to grow our foods is also a contributing factor. Another thing that can actually be attributed to the increased incidences of allergies and intolerance is definitely genetics. Like if I have some certain type of allergies, there's a 50% chance that my baby will experience the same. If now me and the dad have the same type of allergy, then the probability just gets higher. And you have the last cause that I'm going to talk about, being late introduction to solids. As dietitian, we advocate for breast milk as the only source of nutrients for your infant for the first 6 months. After 6 months, we promote effective complementary feeding, and there's a lot of research to show that early introduction between the first 2 months of complementary feeds has actually been associated with better response when it comes to prevention and management of allergies. So as you introduce your baby to foods, let's shy away from giving them only things like porridges, because you give them sieved porridge because we are scared that their gut might actually flare up. Let's introduce our babies to solids slowly and cautiously to these known food allergens, things like eggs, fish, meats, nuts, with the guide of a registered dietitian or your physician to actually be able to monitor their responses to such foods. And if they react, you stop for a minute, you wait for a while, then you can reintroduce them later. This is also very important in ensuring that you're taking care of your baby's nutrition status, because the giving of uji and sieved juices or cow milk only to infants for the 7th and the 8th month is not highly recommended, because we need to ensure that you're giving our babies diversity when it comes to our different food groups. We have tubers, we have nuts, we have seeds, we have fish, we have meats, we have dairy, fruits and vegetables, grains, cereals, legumes, all those. So now that we have talked about the causes of allergies and intolerances in children, what are some of the initiative that you can take to ensure that you are protecting your baby. Or if you have a baby that already has allergies, what can you do to ensure that you manage and you reduce the flares as much as you can? The first thing is, of course, to eliminate the allergens. If you as a parent, you've assessed your baby's digestive system and you have actually came to the fact that this child does not digest maybe eggs well, or once they take milk they start having stomach issues, it is important that you rule out the intake of those foods as you plan for physical examinations with your physician to actually diagnose whether they are having intolerances or it's just a small indigestive hiccup. If they are below 2 years, you can plan for reintroduction later, but with caution to ensure that they don't flare up as they did previously. Another thing that you need to do to ensure that you are protecting your baby against these forms of allergies and intolerances is to ensure that you're practicing exclusive breastfeeding. Breast milk has amazing benefits when it comes to the gut functionality, the digestion, and definitely the metabolic and the immune system. If your baby has already passed that bracket, you need to ensure that your baby is playing outside, because again, there's a hygiene hypothesis that actually dictates that most babies are actually allergic and intolerant because they are, or their parents are too clean. Like the babies are not even exposed to enough microbes or germs to ensure that their bodies is actually forging that defense against such conditions. Of course, it is important to ensure that you are taking care of the wash, or this basically the water and sanitation hygiene practices, but it is also very important to ensure that your baby's gut microbes are diverse, and the best way that you can do that is to allow them to interact with others, because we come with different microbes. When you're interacting, we are sharing those microbes and we're improving diversity of our microbes in our skin, in our gut, and definitely in how our bodies is going to react to that. We are definitely forging defense against that. Do not lock your baby in a cocoon of cleanliness, because we say cleanliness is next to godliness. Yeah, it is good to be clean, it is good to be sterile, but let's not overdo it. Another thing that you can do to ensure that you're protecting your baby against the allergies and intolerances is put them on an anti-inflammatory diet. An anti-inflammatory diet does not have to be a strict diet as we are thinking. No, a diet that is high in things like omega-3, because it has been shown to reduce the chronic inflammation that is actually a common characteristic of most babies who have allergies and intolerances. Things like vitamin D, getting the sun, again comes back to playing outside, and also giving them vitamin D rich foods, and also things like zinc, magnesium to support their metabolic functions, vitamin E, vitamin C, also very important in supplying your babies with phytonutrients, with minerals and vitamins that actually help with reducing the chronic inflammation that has been associated with allergies and intolerances. Of course, the next thing that you're going to do is actually ensure that you optimize their gut functionality, because 70% of our immune function is actually made in the stomach. Ensure that their diet is rich in probiotics and prebiotics. Probiotics are basically these beneficial bacteria that actually help with the digestion. You can get these probiotics from fermented foods, things like yogurt, things like kimchi, things like kombucha, things like kefir. I always say the easiest way to make any food probiotic friendly is actually take it with a probiotic sauce. Another thing, when you're taking these probiotics, you need to ensure that you're taking care of your intakes of prebiotics. Prebiotics are basically these foods that are going out to ferment in the colon and feed your probiotics or your gut microbes. We all have different microbiomes depending on environment, dietary practices, birth processes, whether we breastfed or not, like the stress levels. All these factors actually influence the composition, the types and the quantities of our gut microbes. Another thing on the gut health is ensuring that you're taking as much varied foods as you can, even for your babies. It is very, very important. Do not just feed your baby the same type of food every other day. Do not give them uji every day. Do not give them waru every other day. Please diversify their diets, because as you diversify, you also actually are activating the different digestive enzymes. You're showing your body that you need them, so they are going to be active. But if you feed them the same type of food, they are going to be dormant and they are going to be ineffective when the body needs to actually forge defense against maybe allergies or even bacteria or other toxins that the body needs to deal with. They will not be able to work, and this can actually lead to flares like allergies, sicknesses, conditions like metabolic disorders, mental health issues, and many other conditions. As a dietitian, I always insist that balance is key, but a varied balanced diet is best. So give your baby the best. Kindly let me know in the comment section some of the struggles that you have with intolerances or allergies. I'll definitely be addressing that. And if you have anything that you would like me to address or to talk about, especially when it comes to babies, complementary feeding, breastfeeding, meal combination, meal selections, definitely leave them in the comment section. I'll definitely have it up for you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and until next time, ensure that you stay subscribed and check out this playlist next on child nutrition and breastfeeding practices, and let's meet there. Bye.